Differentiated Instruction by Hannah Kavanaugh. What is differentiated instruction? Well, differentiated instruction is a way of teaching. It's not a program or package or worksheets. It's asking teachers to know their students well so they can provide each one with experiences and tasks that will improve learning. Carol Ann Tomlinson is a leader in the area of differentiated learning and professor of educational leadership foundations and policies at the University of Virginia. Tomlinson describes differentiated instruction as giving students multiple options for taking in information, while factoring students' individual learning styles and levels of readiness before designing a lesson plan. Principles of differentiating instruction. There's ongoing formative assignment, recognition of diverse learners, group work, problem solving, and choice. We're going to discuss ongoing formative assignments. Teachers continuously assess to identify students' strengths and areas of need so they can meet students where they are and help them move forward. Secondly, recognition of diverse learners. The students we teach have diverse levels of experience with reading, writing, thinking, problem solving, and speaking. Ongoing assignments enable teachers to develop differentiated lessons that meet every student's needs. Now, nextly, there's group work. Students collaborate in pairs and small groups whose members change as needed. Learning in groups enables students to engage in meaningful discussions and to observe and learn from one another. And then there's problem solving. Focus in the classroom that differentiate instruction is on issues and concepts rather than the book or the chapter. This encourages all students to explore big ideas and expand their understanding of key concepts. Fifth, choice. Teachers offer students choice in their reading and writing experiences and in the tasks and projects they complete. By negotiating with students, teachers can create motivating assignments that meet students' diverse needs and varied interests. How do teachers differentiate instruction? There are 4 ways teachers can differentiate instruction. The first way is content. The content, as you know, fundamental lesson should cover the standard of learning set by the school district or state educational standards. But some students in your class may be completely unfamiliar with the concept in a lesson. Some students may have primary mastery, and some students may already be familiar with the content before the lesson begins. What you could do is differentiate the content by designing activities for groups of students that cover various levels. Examples of differentiating activities: matching vocabulary words to definitions, read a passage or text and answer related questions, think of a situation that happened to a character in a story and a different outcome. Secondly, the process. Each student has a preferred learning style, and successful differentiation includes delivering the materials to each style. The process-related method also addresses the fact that not all students require the same amount of support from the teacher, and students can choose to work in pairs, small groups, or individually. Teachers can enhance students' learning by offering support based on individual needs. Examples of differentiating the process: provide textbooks for visual and word learners, allow auditory learners to listen to audiobooks, The product. The product is what the students create at the end of the lesson to demonstrate the mastery of the content. This is in forms of tests, projects, reports, or other activities. You could assign students to complete activities that show mastery of an educational concept in ways the students prefer based on learning style. These are examples of differentiating the end process. Reading and writing a book report, reading and then writing a book report. Visual learners create graphic organizers of the story. Auditory learners give an oral report. Lastly, learning environment. The conditions for optional learning include both physical and psychological elements. A flexible classroom layout is key, incorporating various types of furniture and arrangements to support both individual and group work. Psychologically speaking, teachers should use classroom management techniques that support a safe and supportive learning environment. Examples of differentiating the environment are breaking some students into reading groups to discuss the assignment, allow students to read individually if preferred, or create quiet spaces where there are no distractions. How do teachers prepare their students and their classroom for differentiated instruction? Well, they use a variety of instructional approaches, after assignments to meet, alter assignments to meet the needs of the students. Assess students on an ongoing basis to determine their readiness level. Provide a variety of options for how students can learn and demonstrate their knowledge. Strive to make lessons engaging and meaningful. Employ different group formats for instructions like whole class, small groups, independent instruction, and flexible grouping. What does differentiated instruction look like in a classroom? Well, it may appear disorganized and noisy, but on a closer examination, a strong organizational structure is evident. You should have a variety of resources on ranges of levels. Classes discuss on concepts via different learning perspectives. Variety of learning tools both on display and being created. Students have access to a variety of activities, whether physically or electronic. Routine formative assignments. Now there's pros and cons of differing instruction. For the pros, research shows differing instruction is effective for high ability students as well as students with mild to severe disabilities. When students are given more options on how they can learn materials, they take on more responsibility for their own learning. Students appear to be more engaged in learning, and there are reportedly fewer disciplinary problems in classrooms where teachers provide differentiated lessons. Now, there are a few cons that I came up with. There are differentiated instruction requires more work during lessons planning, and many teachers struggle to find the extra time in their schedule. The learning curve can be a steep, and schools lack professional development. Critics argue that there isn't enough research to support the benefits of differentiated instruction outweighing the added prep time. Listed below are some common classroom practices at your school. Explain why they are not examples of differentiated practices, and describe what your colleagues can do to differently. Well, I don't believe that any of the topics listed above are examples of differentiated instruction. In a differentiated learning environment, there will be some lecturing, but there will be many different varieties of learning styles. There will be flexible environment, varieties of levels of resources, different assignments that take place into consideration, varying assignments matching learning experiences. How can we do different? How can we do it differently? Well, in a differentiated instructional class, continuous progress takes place. Everyone learns. The mindset on learning changes because it's hands-on. And what will students experience in a differentiated classroom? Well, they will experience continued progress, hands-on learning experience that center on concepts or topics that may be approached from different perspectives based on interest and readiness, risk-taking, stretching to learn at a higher level, and respectful learning experiences. I really, really like this way of learning. I am going to try to implement it in my teaching when I become a teacher. Thank you.